as you watch their career develop, just think about the feeling you would have knowing that you helped support that artist and kickstart their career and really give them that leg up, you know, even without all this other utility we've talked about. Utility, real utility, not this fake utility that we all talk about all the time in NFT world. Real utility of tickets, you know, merch or free gear, you know, meeting the artist, all that kind of stuff, as well as it being worth more money down the track. And seeing that artist grow and develop and knowing that you were part of helping that happen. To me, that's just something that I think is almost worth, you know, more than a utility. Hey everyone, and welcome back to the NFT Project podcast. And today on the episode, we have the full squad again, Brok, Aaron, and myself, Jai, Boy King Koi. Welcome back to the podcast. Today, we're going to be talking about a hot topic in the Solana community. And I think it's something that maybe hasn't been spoken about enough, hasn't been addressed in the wider community. Something that we talk about all the time on this podcast is the benefit of music NFTs and using NFTs for an artist. But we haven't really touched on specifically what the benefits are for fans, for collectors, and potentially even investors. So I think today we're gonna sort of go over some of those ideas, some of the things that we see. You know, the benefits for fans, the benefits for collectors, and the benefits for people who maybe want to invest in the music and music industry in this space. So, you know, I thought I'd first see how the boys are doing. How you guys, how have you been this week in the Web3 world?
Yeah, we've been good. We've been good, but thriving. A lot of people saying NFTs are dead, but we disagree.
Definitely disagree.
We continue to, well, yeah, I mean, even you, Jai, continue to prove that statement wrong.
Yeah, so it's been pretty good lately. So I think it's but I think what's happening and what we're seeing is what we have sort of said all along is you have to be, you know, smart about these things, and you have to choose. You can't just go for, you know, these degen flips and things like that. There has to be a reason why you're picking up these certain NFTs at the moment. So I think everyone's getting a bit privy to that. So, but that's not what we're here to talk about today. We're going to talk about music NFTs and the benefits for, I guess, the general public. So first of all, I think a great place to start is, you know, a lot of people talk about investment and things like that. So maybe a great idea. I think maybe if Aaron, you kick it off with a little bit about sort of Royal and you know how you can sort of get some of this revenue that artists get, you know, from streaming, from holding these NFTs, because you know, you guys have a couple of those, so maybe you can let everyone know about
stacking them,
about how they work and why you guys invested in these things, because this is more of like, you know, these are more, I mean, it's great that they're supporting the musicians and that, but these are more of an investment side of things, you know, because you're actually getting a return. So take it away, boys. You know more about this project than me, so I'll let you guys take the floor.
Yeah, so I mean, we've spoken about it before. If you're new here, you would already kind of know, but if you don't,
thank you for listening. Number one,
thanks for joining us. Rate and review. We heavily, I guess, invested and are believers in a platform at the moment called Royal, where you can purchase NFTs for songs that gives you a percentage of ownership of the royalties made from that song. So we've got a Diplo track, and we've also got the Chainsmokers' So Far So Good album, which we have tokens of for royalties. So basically, this is like a great way. It's definitely just at the starting stages. There's people dipping their toes in, and it's definitely not. I think maybe like a stigma around it is that like, oh, if you invest in one of these songs, like you're gonna make millions of dollars, which isn't the case, especially right now, where you're getting like 0.0002% of royalties per token. But it is a great way to, as a fan of a song, be able to own, I guess, a percentage of royalties in the track, which is cool from a fan's perspective. But I think in the long term, we will be able to see like these tokens actually like becoming definitely worth it in like a financial standpoint, in that you'll be able to own more percentages as people get more confident with it. I think a lot of indie artists and stuff like that will maybe want to give away more percentage for a track, and then if that track blows up, then suddenly you've got like a worthwhile investment on your hands.
Yeah, well, I think streaming revenue as well isn't necessarily the main source of income for any of the artists that we're talking about here. Like it's more of a secondary income. Everything coming from them performing, essentially. So it's like, I think, they'll get a bit more cowboyish with the rates that they give out as they kind of understand and witness the functionality. Because you're talking about Royal literally only a month and a half ago paid out their first lot of royalties to holders from initial drops that were last year. Another project that's come on the scene as well is called, funnily enough, is called Another Block. They probably launched about a month ago as well, and they dropped a track. Who was it? I'll have to look it up while we're on the show, and I'll come back and say who it was. But yeah, they just launched, and their first bunch of NFTs that they launched have, I think dropped at 0.05, and they've already gone up to like 0.3. But I think they had a much smaller drop than a lot of the other ones that we're talking about on Royal. I think the drop was like 260 NFTs or something like that. So it's like taking the opportunity to believe in an artist that you love already. It's a no-brainer.
Yeah,
like that.
Yeah.
That's
it's a no-brainer for sure.
We've never had a regular punter, a regular fan has never had access to something like this. There are, you can invest in music like we're doing this in real life already. It's possible, but you need to have a much bigger bankroll. This is just allowing your everyday fans to not necessarily become millionaires off your music, but involve themselves a little bit more. I mean, I think all of the people that listen to this podcast are probably sick of us talking about the Chainsmokers, but in the Discord, we're like stacking some of those NFTs right now for their one, because they're going to reward people that hold more. And Aaron's a massive fan, so we're just conservatively adding more.
Racking them up, baby.
If any are super cheap or like lower than the normal floor, we'll scoop them up.
And you guys got the initial ones for free, right? So those
the whole thing was free.
Yeah,
Correct.
So they gave out those 4,000 tokens for free to people. So, and then like, what's a token worth now? What's
the floor's at $100 roughly Australian.
Yeah.
It has peaked at probably about $300 Australian.
And so the Diplo one you guys bought, what was that purchase price when you guys bought
1,000?
1,000 US. Yeah.
And there was different
USD.
levels for that, right? You guys got like a more premium one.
We got the mid tier.
Yeah, they did like, I think three tiers. It was like, which is like different percentage of revenue split. And so we got the middle tier, which was $1,000. And I think we should, like, not that it's what. Do you remember, Brock? What like we're projected to earn on this?
We're projected to almost make the money back, roughly on this first one, because Diplo's obviously he on that track he has Miguel, who's pretty much a mainstream singer songwriter. And he heavily promoted the track. I probably watched him promote the song for like 6 months. Him and Miguel were doing like live pop-ups. He was doing live DJ sets in the middle of, wherever he was getting his crew to get like gear and contacting people. And I think he got shut down by the cops like 5 or 6 times. Like he was really punishing that song heavily, and it's shown with the streaming numbers.
They did like the Tonight Show and stuff, like Jimmy.
So they're really pushing it.
Really pushed it.
Went hard.
And so I guess the thing that's for people out there who are looking to get into this kind of, I suppose, investment that in artists you believe in, you're looking at making your revenue back through through that the streaming revenue and the royalties there, but then you can also sell this thing, right? That's the other thing that that we're talking about. It like you said, the Chainsmokers one was free, and then the price went up to $300 at its at its peak. So there is also that potential for the actual price of the NFT, the token, to increase, as well as gaining the revenue. So if you were smart and know how music works, you would probably go, well, when the track first comes out, there's going to be a lot more streams and revenue. Let's wait till we get a little bit of payment through, and then you could sell it on if you wanted as an investment strategy. But I think it's something that we have to sort of stress to a lot of people is music NFTs aren't really like a quick flip in general. They're not something that if you're an investor, a fan, or a collector, they're not something you should be looking to really flip quickly. It's not really that kind of a game, because I mean, you look at music and music careers in general, they're not, people might think out there that people blow up out of nowhere, but that's really not the case. Musicians and artists are always, it takes quite a while before them to sort of, to make it, I guess, or break. And that's something that people need to be aware of. It's a lot of these things aren't going to happen, overnight. Well, at this stage, maybe NFTs will change that, and we'll see things go into the charts and through that, and we'll see a lot of growth there. But yeah, that's one thing I think I want to stress to everyone out there is it's if you don't like the song, if you don't enjoy the artist and don't believe in that artist, it's probably not the right sort of thing for you to purchase, and maybe you shouldn't purchase it.
Well, and I think NFT flipping is just a very much just a trend
At the moment,
that's been happening for a little bit because of the hype and all that kind of stuff. I think in a few years, like flipping kind of won't even be really a thing, because really it's just the technology and the use of the blockchain and all that kind of stuff is like what NFTs are. So it'll just be another way of like using NFTs to invest in music and do other things that NFTs will connect to in real life. But I think at the moment there is like this flipping mentality, but I think that'll die
over
out.
time, yeah. So let's talk about those in real life things, maybe. Or Brock, what do you want to?
Sorry, yeah, I was just going to say, to go back to the other site, other project called Another Block. The track was Rehab and Layback Luke Weekend on a Tuesday, which, so again, some more big artists getting involved in the space, like pretty good.
Yeah, and I mean we had Mark from Label Coin on as well. They're launching soon, and again that's another platform where you'll be able to invest in songs and get some royalty returns there. And they've got some cool analytic tools they were talking about to track sort of the return you would get on some of their NFTs. So over time, as artists release the NFTs, you actually be able to look and say, oh well, this artist, this price point, and this is what the return sort of can be expected. So that's a really cool tool that they're building. So if you haven't seen that episode, go back and check that one, Mark Miller and Label Coin. But yeah, let's talk a little bit about artists, what they can do to give back to fans with these NFTs, and the beauty of being able to to see the fans and the true super fans, who holds these tokens and things like that. So I think one of the first things is access. We talk about all the time. Being in a small club or group because you've purchased these NFTs. Oftentimes the artist will have a Discord, or they'll have a Telegram group, or whatever it might be, depending on the size of the artist and how many people are involved, where you would, get some kind of exclusive access. So whether that's an AMA or, a video chat, or, maybe it's every week they're in the Discord in a holders channel or something like that. So if you're whoever's out there listening to this, think about your favorite artist, whoever that might be. And imagine being able to once a week, or maybe it's once a month, who knows what it is, being able to actually, chat to them via a voice chat, or chat to them via a text chat, and what that would mean to you. I think a lot of people would really love that, to be able to connect with their favorite artist, and ask some questions and talk to them, and really get to know them a little bit more on that personal level, as opposed to your Instagram posts, your Twitter posts, and all that kind of stuff, which is very much just putting the message out, and there's not as much sort of back and forward conversation between fans and artists. A little bit in the comments and that, but it's not the same as a voice chat in a Discord, or a message sort of chat in one of those platforms. So have you guys seen any other really cool access things, maybe concerts or something?
Yeah, I recently we copped a bit of heat on our Twitter for posting about Chris Brown's NFT drop. And I think it was I'd clipped a scene from an earlier podcast that we'd done, almost 3 months ago. No, not 3 months ago, but about a month and a half ago, talking about his drop and how it had failed, but there were still holders in there. So from this guy, this super fan, obviously, of Chris Brown talking to me, I was like, okay, I'll go do some more work and have a look, so I actually have proper information to go back again and probably dig a bit deeper, in another episode. And I was looking through, and I actually found, even though there's not that many holders, they've actually done a good job of giving everyone those in real life experiences. One in particular ended up with a fan in the VIP area of the stage and being pulled up on stage. So
That's sick right there. Like,
so to go from a couple of $100 NFT to ending up on stage,
being on stage.
yeah,
Yeah,
like that's what it's all about.
yeah, I mean that's that's
for
huge
sure.
access.
We were they're talking about in the Chainsmokers Discord, which is why we're kind of stacking them at the moment, is because they've kind of realized that they've given out thousands of NFTs for free. They can't really give everyone a backstage access or a meet and
Yeah.
greet or anything. So they're looking at how they can do that moving forward, and they think the way that they're going to do that is if like you own a certain amount of tokens, then you can qualify to do a meet and
Yep.
greet.
If you're a super fan,
So
yeah.
meet and greets. Yeah,
And super
exactly.
fans
And
will do that kind of thing. They'll collect these things and
Yeah, exactly. Especially like for a token that is like the Chainsmokers one on Royal,
Yeah.
it's like we're still getting revenue from it as we buy anyway. So it also has that kind of like, even though it's not a lot of money, it is still has that value as well as separating us or me or us apart from like other people who might just have one and they're just like kind of a fan.
Yeah.
Compared to a super fan.
And I mean, like, there's heaps of other things that I've even been involved in. I've got one of the Dirty Bird Flight Club, NFTs, and they quite often have done sort of performances in their little Birdverse, which is a little kind of metaverse, where it's
How cool's
exclusive.
the name Birdverse? That's
Yeah,
cool.
the Birdverse, and where they've done exclusive, like essentially like concerts and shows. So, artists on the Dirty Bird label, Claude Von Stroke, for example, doing DJ sets that you literally can't hear anywhere else. A gated entry into a metaverse, and like I've actually just performed in the metaverse for the first time yesterday, and they've actually been real. They loved it, and they've actually given me a metaverse room now. So I now have the ability to also do that with people if I wanted, because now I have a metaverse room. I could token gate that and, only allow people in who hold my music NFTs. So, being able to give that sort of, exclusive experience and access. And, we might be able to actually do one of the podcasts in there at one stage even, or, meet and greets in there. So it's a way that you can interact with people and fans all around the world, which is something that maybe you wouldn't have been able to do as easily before. But because you can see who these fans are that hold these tokens, it's a great way to give that access, which is a great thing. I think another thing that's really big is even you talk about Shopify has now got token gating on website stuff, or they're doing beta versions of that. So you can see a time where you'll be able to get exclusive merch. You'll be able to purchase at discounts, merch and things by holding these NFT tokens, all that kind of stuff.
Shopify is kind of leading the way in that sense for artists. It is a little bit expensive still, so it is. I would recommend, if you're just starting out, probably not Shopify for you because it's still on the high end.
Yeah.
But as far as interoperability, like you can connect it to a shirt printing place, so you can just chuck designs on and you don't have to touch anything. It just gets shipped out to people.
Yeah.
And they've got that for a bunch of other stuff like merch wise. And then you've got the ability to actually NFT token gate your page or parts of your page, so only certain people can go through to that area. So it it's looking like slowly the adoption's coming through. But yeah, it needs to still filter down to that really independent level for it to do some damage, I feel.
Yeah, but I mean that's the beauty of it is like the technology is coming, but you know the ability for an artist to give back to their holders and to be able to verify who their holders are, how long they've held that NFT. Like if I had a track that came out and then 10 years down the time, all of a sudden I'm touring and I've got way more money and means to be able to give back to my community, and I can see that 10 people that initially bought that NFT are still holding it for 10 years. I can go, that's really cool. Like I'm gonna, get in contact with those people. Hopefully, they're in my Discord. You would think they would be, and be able to give back to them. Some
Well, yeah,
kind of
if they've been
value.
holding for 10 years, you'd hope they'd be in your Discord.
Yeah, you know what I mean. Like you can actually see how
I know
long these
what you mean.
people have held it. Yeah, because like it's something you wouldn't have
Hmm.
been able to do before. Because if you think about, let's say, a lot of people like to compare music NFTs to a record, a digital version of a record. Well, you might have, say, this limited edition record that came out at the time, when this song came out or whatever it was. But I don't actually know that you purchased that at the time it dropped when it first released. You could have purchased that off someone else at a later date.
On eBay 2 weeks ago.
Exactly. And there's no way for me to really verify that, without trying to get receipts and all that kind of stuff. And who keeps all that stuff for that long? So, this is a great way to be able to really see who those people are and give back to them and reward them for being there and supporting, early on and stuff like that.
I think it's going to really give the tick of it. Like, just from what you said there, something that I might not have thought about as well is that kind of seal of approval that's has happened already a little bit with like sound, with artists like Diplo and Steve Aoki purchasing certain people's NFTs.
Yep.
If you can have someone that has a bit of a profile or a following purchasing your song in their wallet, that can be a really good signal to other people that you're an artist to watch.
Well, it's like you see on SoundCloud, like on like the activity tracker and stuff. Like if you're following, Diplo on SoundCloud and he's liking a bunch of tracks and like commenting on some stuff,
It's thirsty.
you see that and you go, oh yeah, that's oh yeah, Diplo's digging this. Let's check it out. And it's like if you imagine if you just buy the music NFT off SoundCloud, it's like, oh yeah, Diplo just bought this track. Let's have a look at it. Oh yeah, this is sick.
And you can verify it. You could be the
Yeah.
guy that goes, oh yeah, you can see that I was, a fan of this artist before everyone else was. A lot of people like to flex that. Oh, I found this artist when they only had 100 followers, and you can be like, right now, it's like, well, did you? Did you really? Like, how are you going to prove that? Whereas, with these NFTs, you can actually look back and go, oh no, you actually can prove that you purchased this thing back then.
Man,
You did.
as a booker in real life, like that, man, if I could have those receipts of like artists I picked and booked early and paid the money for, and shows went to shit because obviously they didn't have enough fans, etc., in the space. I'd love to be able to flex those NFTs right now and go, yeah, look, I was right a lot, but just too early.
Yeah, that's it. And yeah, I mean, there's so many ways we can, things you can look at this. I've always said that, back in the day, you used to hear a song on the radio. This is the analogy I love to use. You'd hear a song on the radio and you'd say to your friends, I own that CD at home, and that meant something. It meant that you were a fan of that artist. It meant that you were a fan of that genre. It meant that you associated with that music and the scene and the culture, or maybe the fashion that artist sort of, or that scene, associates with. So, it used to be CDs and records were the way that we expressed, the way that we, ourselves in terms of the music and the culture that we like, that pop culture of music. And, we still do it now, but we only do it once a year. And the way we do that is we post our Spotify Wrapped, right? The end of the year, whenever that Spotify Wrapped comes out, what does everyone do? everyone posts it on their socials because they want everyone to know who their favorite artists are and who they've been listening to. Well, if I could actually purchase those music NFTs of those particular artists that I really love, I've actually got a way of showing that I'm an even more bigger fan because I've actually not just listened to them on Spotify, where I may not even be paying for that. I've actually, or I'm just paying a small fee, not, particularly to any one artist, but you can actually show, look, I actually purchased this NFT, and I've held it for this long, and I'm a big fan of this artist and I love this song. So, I just can't see how, as we move into a more digital world, that this won't be something that people aren't going to want to flex, aren't going to want to, be able to play in a player in the metaverse, in their spaces, in, wherever it is. And a lot of people say, oh, well, you can't play these music NFTs at the moment because there's no player. It's like, yeah, now, but I know for a fact of
There's 3 players at the moment.
multiple people, who have players that they're working on developing that you can use, that are getting better every day. Ones that are, I know people that are looking at solving problems that don't even exist yet for players, like audio NFT spams in your wallet.
The biggest issue, the biggest issue really is, honestly, and we talk about it all the time, is still just discoverability. Like, because there's, and I think you mentioned in a recent tweet, it's, and you're more like taking a dig at Ethereum because that's what you do.
You got to have a dig every now and again, boys.
It's not even just Ethereum. It's like every chain has multiple music marketplaces. So, and they're, you know, as well as you have the ability to just create music NFTs on a chain and not even have them on a marketplace. You can just have them. So it's kind of like to find a way where there's a system, because really it's still on chain, so it's still searchable. So people, I think it still goes back to finding that file though, where it's like, okay, this is a music NFT. So because still the music NFTs look like MP4s, so it's still difficult to go, oh, that's a music, for a filing system to look through and go, okay, that's a music NFT, and pull it out and go and put it somewhere. So once that changes, then that system will become discoverability will skyrocket.
Yeah.
Sorry to get off topic.
No, it's a great point, because there isn't really, this one place to find all this stuff. If I want to go and look for and find and support some more, artists in Web3 music NFT, and by purchasing them and collecting them, it can be very difficult to find, these artists. Where do you go? You've got to check multiple different, music marketplaces, or places that are dropping, or go into Twitter Spaces or search Twitter. There's no real good way to find them yet. So hopefully that will, get better as time moves on. But that is definitely an issue at the moment.
Goes on.
Someone make that into an NFT.
Beautiful. Mint that.
As an NFT. One of the things that I wanted to go over and touch on, I've been running a little bit of a thought experiment, a hypothetical, as I do often. And I thought a great one to run would be an example of how an artist could potentially use a music NFT over their career, and how they could give back to the artist, to the collectors, to the fans of the first, the first track, whatever it is that they have. So I'm just going to use a hypothetical situation of Kanye in this example, because people know who he is. They know, details about him. So in this hypothetical situation, we're going to pretend Kanye has just started making music that he's ready to release. And so in this situation, he's got his first track, and he is selling 25 editions of the track for $100 each, right? So a lot of people don't think about how much money it takes for an artist to actually create music. So, you've got things like studio time, you might have writers, you might have producers, mix engineers, mastering engineers. And at the very beginning of someone's career, they probably do need a bit of help in some of these areas. And so, even studio time alone, publishing, marketing, all these things can cost quite a bit. So in this situation, we're going to just hypothetically say it's costing $2,000 for this track to write, record, produce, mix, master, release. That's what it costs. And so Kanye...
Cheapy.
Yeah, we're just going to say it's $2,000.
Home job.
Yeah. So in this situation, Kanye is going to make 25 music NFTs that are $100 each. So he's going to make $2,500, and so he sells those 25 music NFTs, and he gets that money, which pays for the studio time that he's just done. So he's been working a job as well to pay for that initially, and this is just sort of going to get him that money back, recoup that, and then it gives him another $500 to get in the studio to start recording his next track. To get him that little bit ahead of time. And so that's the first way. The first sort of music NFTs he's sold, and he's made this money that's paid for his first track, and then has got him sort of on his way to starting this next track, and getting really getting into writing and releasing more music. So then we flash forward 5 years, right? So 5 years forward, Kanye's now, he's released an album. He's going to do a
College
he's gonna
Dropouts just skyrocketed his fame.
yeah, he's killing it now. He's going to do a world tour, and so Kanye's like, all right, sweet, I'm going to do a world tour. I remember that I sold 25 music NFTs at the very beginning, and those people who bought those for $100, they supported me, and they really helped me to be able to get that first track paid for and get some studio time that really got the ball rolling for me. Kickstarted my career, So what I'm going to do is I'm going to give away for those 25, whoever holds the music NFT, I'm going to give 2 VIP passes to my concerts, wherever they are in the world, wherever the closest show would be. They can come, and I'll give them a meet and greet, for free. VIP experience. They get 2 free tickets, a double pass for them and a friend to come. That's not costing him a lot of money. He would already be selling these. And let's just say that
time. That's it.
Time. Let's just say that he's already doing meet and greets and tickets, and they're $200 each, which is, I'm sure they would be more than that, but let's just say $200 each. So instantly, those music NFTs are now worth $400, right? Because fans who maybe want that experience might go, oh, I want that, and I'm going to try and buy that off someone who purchased that at the start. And so, they might go for more than 400, because that's just, what the
they can look at either hopping out and profiting from it. If that's what they want some money instead of the experience, or they can, go the experience.
Or they can
route.
get the experience.
Because there's a hypothetical where the person who bought the first one saw Kanye's career develop and go, you know what, his music kind of isn't really for me anymore. Yeah. And then as Kanye's come up, there's been a bigger fan. He's like, I love Kanye's music. This is so sick. I want one of these NFTs. I'll pay $1,000 for it.
And Kanye gets paid from the royalty percentage off it as well. So he makes a little bit of money as well there.
Kanye for sure will make sure he gets paid on that one.
Yeah.
Royalties.
And then, so straight to the bank. So then let's just say that we go from there. He does all those experiences. It's many years down the track now, 10 years down the track, and he's just going to come out with his first Yeezy shoe. And so he goes, well, actually, I can see, because of the blockchain, there's still 12 people who own that music NFT of mine from those first initial people. And they still own it, and they've never sold it. Day one, the real OGs who believed in me when no one else did, put their money down and helped me, they're going to get the first Yeezy shoes. I'm going to send 12 pairs out to those people wherever they are in the world, and they're going to be the first people in the world to get those Yeezy shoes. So, what did Yeezys go for when they came out initially?
Like $1,500.
$1,500. So what do you think the first initial ones? I mean, these people are fans, so they're probably going to keep them anyway. But these first ones would be worth, an extreme amount, I would guess.
Well, you're looking at, 10x that if they're unreleased anywhere and they're the only ones holding them.
Yeah. So that's a way then, as an artist like Kanye develops, has more means, has more money, has more, different things that he can give and leverage, he's able to then give back. So he can give those 12. And honestly, that's not really going to cost him that much. 12 pairs, even though they're limited edition, unreleased.
Again, it's just shipping.
To him, and they don't cost much. Yeah. So he can give back to those artists. And then, further down the track, Kanye is now a historic pop, legend in the world. for many reasons in all the different areas that he's sort of put his hand at. And so now that music NFT, even with no other utility, just as a song, as a one of 25 of his first original song that he released, is now worth 20 grand. I mean, it might even be worth more. I'm speculating here as to what an iconic piece of media like that could be worth. The if there was only 25 records of the Beatles that were ever made of their first track, what would that be worth now if there was only 25 in the world? And this is what we're talking about, this long game of an artist's career. And even if that wasn't worth anything, you may have been a fan the whole time. And if it is worth something and you've loved this artist and you've supported and you've shown, hey, look, I was one of the OGs at the start, I can prove it because of the blockchain, here's my NFT, I am an OG fan and I found this guy when he was coming up and I loved his music. Well, there you go, you've just proved that you can flex that sort of that digital copy. And then if you do want to sell it because, hey, you want to use that money for a house deposit, or you're old now, and you've got a family.
Kanye's old, you're old, everyone's old.
Like it's
we're all depressed.
It's this
You're
long game.
You're thinking about retirement. You're using your NFTs to retire.
But that's just like a little fun hypothetical situation of he's got the shirt. Just that's just a small example of how something could play out in real life, if an artist wanted to give back to some original OG fans who, when that's why you should go out and buy a music NFT and support, an artist. If you like the song, if you like the artist, get out there and buy one.
Well, that's what we say. It's like, all you got to do is wait for the next, Billie Eilish to come from the Web3 universe where someone did start putting out their first tracks as music NFTs. They blow up. They're a huge, music icon. Then people go, oh shit, yeah, probably should have. I heard about it. Yeah, probably should have bought some NFTs. But anyway, maybe the next one.
Yeah. And that's the other thing, is you get to watch this artist grow, knowing that you've purchased them at the start, knowing that you've supported this, because, maybe when you first did that and you sold those tracks, Kanye might have tweeted and said, all you MFers out there have just paid for my, my studio time for that track. And I've got some money now to get back in the studio and record the next track. I love you guys. Like, thanks so much for the support. And then that as a fan, as someone who's purchased and supported. And so as you watch their career develop, just think about the feeling you would have knowing that you helped support that artist and kickstart their career and really give them that leg up, even without all this other utility we've talked about. Utility, real utility, not this fake utility that we all talk about all the time in NFT world. Real utility of tickets, merch or free gear, meeting the artist, all that kind of stuff, as well as it being worth more money down the track. And seeing that artist grow and develop and knowing that you were part of helping that happen, to me, that's just something that I think is almost worth, more than a utility. That's what I like to say, that watching the artist grow and knowing that you've supported them is part of the utility. That is utility, to me anyway. Obviously, I value music quite highly, so I might not be the same as everyone else, but I honestly think that that's something that, a lot of people would love to do. And if it's an artist you really love, I just can't see how owning a music NFT could ever be a bad thing. Only a positive thing. But that's my little fired up rant about music NFTs. And I just think it was, when I saw all of the questions and so many people asking, like, why would I buy an NFT? What's the point in buying an NFT? Would you buy Soulja Boy's NFT? Would you buy this person's NFT? And the answer is, if you like that artist, you would. If you don't, then you wouldn't. And that's, I think, something we need to stress, is you have to like the music, you have to like the artist, whatever it is, you have to be like be associated with it, and not just look at it as an investment or a flip or a degen play or something like that. It's
I think a Soulja Boy NFT would definitely be a flipper, not a long.
unless you loved Soldier Boy. Maybe you and your missus met at the club.
Does anyone love
Maybe
Soulja
you
Boy?
and your missus, that's your song. You know, you met at the club and that was the song.
Doesn't he have a
that you
documentary out
first
at the
danced.
moment?
I don't know. That's just an example I saw someone post about anyway. So, but yeah, you know, like if you love a big artist, purchase their NFT. If you find a small artist that you like their song or you heard them speak in a space, buy their NFT. You know, if you think it's
Buy
cool,
our NFT.
buy it.
God.
Yeah, go buy some of our NFTs. No, but honestly, that's what I think we need to stress, and yeah, I think we've covered a lot of that today in this episode. So hopefully people have a little bit of a reason now to maybe go out and think to themselves, maybe some of those profits that I took flipping JPEGs, I can support an artist that I believe in and purchase some of their NFTs. And you know, and see where that goes. See if they do break and become big, or maybe invest in some NFTs on Royal or Label Coin, or what was the other one you said, Brock?
Another block.
Another block, and you know, have some residual income, you know, coming in through those streams. And then I can tell you right now, as someone who owns music NFTs of other people that I've purchased, when I hear their song or when I listen to that NFT, whether it's on a Spotify playlist or it's me going into my wallet and listening to it, that song hits harder. It sounds better. It means more to me when I hear it. When I hear those riffs, when I hear the words, it just hits different, you know, because I know I've helped.
It's like enjoying watching a sporting match more when you know you've put a bet on.
Yes. Great analogy. Yeah, no, it's so true, because you're sort of betting on that artist, aren't you? That they're gonna.
Yeah, you're invested.
So yeah, that's it for this one. I think. Like I said, go out there, have a listen, check out all the marketplaces on all the platforms, all the blockchains. Check out some Web3 artists. You know, follow them, support them, buy some of their music, and you know, have a punt on the music industry, because this could really change a lot of things. This could change the music industry, you know, give a lot of artists a shot and give them their start when they may not have, and accelerate their career and be able to actually do music full time, and then write that next hit, you know, write that song that breaks them or changes someone else's life or gets another artist into it. There's all these flow on effects. All right, let's stop it. I can talk about this forever. Let's get out of here.
I feel like Jai was wrapping it up and he just keeps going.
I keep getting fired up.
Thanks.
Let's go.
Thanks so much for listening, everyone. Make sure, rate, review, share with someone. You know, if you're a music NFT artist out there, this is a great episode to share with collectors or people that you feel like you might want to alert to the fact that music NFTs are going on and that their favorite artists are here playing in the field, and they could hop over and very well become your next collector. So I think it's a great episode to share with people.